This is Nick Douglas for Adventures of a Sailor Girl, standing on the steps here just a few minutes ago. Sam Haynes, the skipper of Celestial, was very, very open with his feelings about this protest and where he's at. Just to prelude to what he had to say, the decisions made from the protest versus Celestial from the race committee: a discretionary penalty of 40 minutes in lieu of disqualification is to be added to Celestial's elapsed time as authorised by Sailing Instruction 21.1. In determining the penalty, the following matters were considered: the specific penalties for other rule breaches, the World Sailing Discretionary Penalty Guide, the appropriate penalty for a breach of a rule with potentially serious safety consequences, the mitigating factor that the breach was accidental, and the aggravating factor that the breach inconvenienced AMSA, the race committee, and other competitors. For the matter in Ichiban, redress was given to Ichiban and their elapsed time was adjusted by deducting 3 minutes. So overall 3 minutes was deducted from Ichiban and 40 was added to Celestial. This now definitely puts Ichiban ahead of Celestial on corrected time, and we'll wait and see what happens with White Bay 6 Azuro, though they have slowed significantly over time. Let's have a little bit of a listen to what Sam Haynes had to say immediately after the protest hearing this evening.
Look, I know that I do respect the decision. It's the international jury that we have here for this race has been picked by a committee that I actually chair at the CYC, the Sailing Committee, and I'm on the board there as well, and I know that we've got the right people for this job. And as far as I'm concerned, the decision stands. It's nothing I can do about that. It's a devastating moment. I've been trying to win this race for 10 years. It's my 10th attempt. My boat, Celestial's, been in 11 races, one of which I couldn't attend because I was injured. I've campaigned for a long time. We put together a fantastic program this year. The crew, the guys that I had on board with me, supporting me in this campaign, have been outstanding. They're a brilliant bunch of sailors. They're amazing to sail with, and we had the race of our lives. We did not stop trying, we did not stop working the boat all the way, even up the Derwent, every moment of the race. We were trying to gain time on a very, very powerful boat, and we gained just enough to win, we thought, against that boat. It's really hard for me knowing that what we did on the water came to the room. The technicality, we didn't know that we were unable to hear our radio at the time. We've made that very, very clear. We have a lot of information that we've given to the IJ today to state our position on that. We always have safety first on Celestial. We've never ever sailed these boats, my boats, without having a very, very safe approach to racing. And the problem with communications in this race was not just isolated to Celestial. There are many other boats that had serious communications issues. In fact, they're already in the media. And we also hear other boats continuously relaying radio messages. It happens a lot. It's happened a lot in the Blue Water Point score already. And I've been sailing blue water racing now for a long time, and it happens continuously. And to be almost touching the Tattersall and not being able to potentially, depending on other boats still sailing, claim that prize due to something which occurs regularly, commonly in our racing, it appears to me to be, it is very, very hard to take that. Very, very hard. My crew deserve the win. We've got people on the boat that this sport is their livelihood. We have people on the boat that the sport's a passion. We have a largely amateur team. We have some very, very talented professionals. We've got people on the boat who have sailed many, many Hobart races and at this time, I can't tell you how devastating it is to end up being not able to claim potentially a prize that we were so close to getting. And I just really don't know where to go with it. I know that I've got a lot of support. Our boat has been trying for a long time, as I say, and I've got a lot of support from my crew. I've got the right people around me. My beautiful partner Mel will be helping me get through this as well. But where it leaves me, gutted, fragile, it's an extremely difficult thing to be in my position. I've worked for the club. I'm a director at the CYCA. I'm on the sailing committee, as I mentioned. I've been organising the race. We went through the devastation of having to cancel last year's race. I've been through a lot for this particular sport. And to get to this stage so close, and then this, when it feels to me that we didn't even know that we were at fault. We had no chance to fix that. Yes, a listening watch is important. I mean, it's essential. It's something that has to be done. We do that. You don't know if you're not listening, if you cannot hear anything, if you just simply are not receiving anything through your equipment. And our equipment's well maintained. The boat is beautifully maintained. It is really hard to be in my position right now. Really, really hard to be in my position. It's something that I can't wish upon anyone. We have come to Hobart. We thought at the line that we had time, and we did. We raced the race of our lives. And a hard race. It was not handed to anyone, that race. Everyone knows how hard this race was. And to have won it fair and square would have been something that we would have deserved, and now we can't do that. I know how well we sailed. I know how much everyone put in. I know that we deserved to get to a result that was decided on the water through our sailing. But it's not the same. It'll never be the same. I mean, I think this will be remembered. It's not actually good for the sport to have these technicalities, these things which people really are going to find it hard to understand, actually change what could be potentially... I mean, this is the most important race in Australia, potentially one of the most important races in the world. And this is the way it's gone at this stage. I mean, there are other boats sailing. There's a good chance that right now the result will stand, but we don't know that. And it is not something, I think, that is really helpful, that these type of going to the room ends up with a result change. So yeah, it's something which I think will go through a lot of people's minds as to, sure, which boat did have the fastest time on the water, uncorrected. But it's not the same as actually holding the silverware, receiving the watch, being at the prize giving. It's not the same. I have sailed blue water racing, all these Sydney to Hobarts. We always have 16 turned on. We always hear communications on it. The radio is constantly going. There are times where you don't hear communications, particularly when you're out in the middle of nowhere and there are no communications to hear. So how do you know that you're not hearing communication at that time? There were many PLB activations. The chairman of the race committee told me there were at least 11 that they knew of. We also know there were a lot of other communications issues on yachts. We had an accidental activation along with those other ones. There were several which took over 30 minutes to be resolved. Ours took 90 minutes, and as soon as we knew, and I was grateful to the crew of Ichiban. I didn't realise they had protested us at that stage. I was grateful and thanked them on the dock for actually alerting us with their, when they released the flare, which told us that there was something which we thought was a problem on their boat, and that's when we made a call to them. And I thanked them for that. I thought it was a gesture of good sportsmanship, and it was. But I didn't realise that we were going to A, be protested by them, or B, be protested by the race committee. And I can understand that there would need to be something. There needs to be a process followed But to actually give a 40-minute penalty to a boat that has complied with everything and believes it's complied with everything, has not gained a performance advantage, has not detracted from anyone else's performance significantly, that's a very, very hard penalty to swallow. It's incredibly difficult to take that. I just can't, I almost can't believe it. It's been a surreal experience for me. And the word surreal, it really is. It's a very, very strange position that I'm in. I actually almost can't even begin to fathom.